E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what will be the final map of our qualification. One of these teams is going through, the other will be staying at home, left to cry about it. That's all we can really say. HellRaisers with a dominant performance on the second map. And, well, we'll see if they can bring that into Inferno. Obviously, I did ask some of you guys to send me a few predictions, so I think it's only fair that maybe I'll read a couple of them. It looks like we got some Envy fans. One of them is called EnVy, like with an M, TV, and he's gone 16-13 to EnVyUs. Got Hackster as well, who said that he thinks it's 16-9, so we got some Envy fans in the mix. Now, Scrawny actually started by saying he thinks HellRaisers are going to win. Now, do you still stick to your guns?
Yes.
Good. If you'd said no, I'd be disappointed in you and probably have kicked you from the Discord.
I'm a man of commitment, Tom.
Good.
No, I think it's fair to say that obviously Train was very one-sided. We saw EnVyUs come out of the gates just firing on all cylinders, and I think we saw like a level above and beyond as far as individual play is concerned. And while that's always a threat with EnVyUs, because let's be real, these are accomplished players. We're talking about guys who have won majors, or one in this case, but regardless, it's a group of players who've been together for so long, and by together I mean like within the top of the French scene. Sure, it's a shuffle, sure they're on wobbly legs, and it is still a very fresh roster. But HellRaisers proved us on Mirage that on a toe-to-toe basis, when it comes to duking it out, they're capable. They're very well capable, and I don't think that Inferno is necessarily a map that's all too great for EnVyUs.
Yeah, again, it's another map. It's quite a weird map pool, to be honest, for them at the moment, because we haven't seen them play a whole lot of matches with this new roster, but again, we've only seen them play Inferno, I think, once, and they lost to Na'Vi. Now, I do want to say, obviously, Na'Vi, different opponent altogether, and they could just turn it around on this map. We saw that on Train, where they got decimated by G2 and then came into the map and did very, very well. But then on Mirage, a map that they didn't really play, they did awfully, it has to be said. So it is depending on which team turns up. Obviously, I'm sticking with my guns. I'm sticking with the French. I would hate myself if I flip-flopped, a bit like Hugo Byron. But we are going to see the smoke actually thrown out. Angel going straight out, and this should be an easy kill for Sixer. I say he should. He's not hitting the shots.
Oh, and meanwhile, Scream's able to find one, but this is over towards the A site where Zero is able to remove him from the equation. The bomb gonna go down as Zero follows suit with a headshot onto Sixer. The CTs struck down before they even get a chance to hold the line. Now, Happy's gonna get removed as well, so it's all on the shoulders of XMS, and Angel, yet once more, similarly to Mirage, puts the pistol round on his back and carries his team over the line. HellRaisers with the start they wanted.
I don't know how Sixer doesn't get a kill. I really don't. That's such a perfect setup for him to be in. He was well positioned, ready and waiting, and the USP just let him die. Maybe he's firing blanks. Maybe that's what it is. Just couldn't quite get it. He does get a kill later in the round, but by that point, they've already wrapped onto the site. Either way, we are going to see the investment coming in from the majority of players over on the CT side. Obviously, Sixer normally saves to get that AWP in play early as possible. A map where it's not always necessary, but we do see it a lot more on the CT side. The T's only really using it as a counter most of the time. Now the T's for now do look to be setting up just over towards middle. Again, taking quite a bit of control, and they are going to smoke off just to try and isolate a couple of these CT's players on the A site.
And they are just creeping their way forward here. RPK is going to get himself on top of the pallet, or at least tries to. And this could give him vision over the edge of the smoke. But the frag grenade's going to force him back. The smoke does fade, but Sixer, meanwhile, has dropped one player, and that's the bomb. leading the charge. HellRaisers gonna get pinned into this archway. Sixer doubles down with another frag, but Bondic takes it back. RPK swinging wide, dealing more damage as now HellRaisers are stuck. And Zero's down to 10 HP. Happy's flank connects, and it's all on Stiko. 1v2. He's got himself the bomb, and he's been able to get onto the site itself. So as he punches in the numbers, he just has to hold the line.
He's at least going to be able to secure them a plant. That's something to play with. Molotov thrown in, but weapons have already been picked up by this CT side. They don't have a kit, but he's actually going to go rotating back. Interesting position. I feel like he's probably going to go down to Scream and doesn't even hesitate to decapitate his opponent. Stiko goes down. An instant response from Envy as they're able to pick themselves up that second round. And props go to Sixer. Big play. Only had a CZ. Didn't have any armor behind it. He picks up 2 kills early and just slows them down enough that the rotation is quickly in from the French.
I mean, I think this is one of my favorite things about Inferno, right? Is that your corridors and ranges of engagement are so short. And that's where these pistols, the UMPs, all the shotguns, they can all prevail. So you can get some very weird rounds where, you know, deflated or disadvantageous buys can sometimes come out on top. And that's a great example of it. Sixer maybe redeeming himself as far as the pistols are concerned. The frag stack towards the bottom of Banana meets no avail. T-side just going to hold back and take alt mid for the time being. HellRaisers looking to force the issue as they do come into this round with a buy-in. And again, it's going to net them the double ump, the upgraded pistols, and even a Galil for Stiko. So they are going to be on a competitive stance here as they execute into A. RPK slays them down as Scream spraying wildly through middle, drops to RPK, tucks tail, comes back towards Pit, and finds himself the last 2 players. Scream with a great play there to just completely lock down HellRaisers.
Yeah, he will be able to get a couple of kills combining with RPK, and, well, that was a bit of a risky force that came out from HellRaisers there in an attempt to instantly force the issue and bounce back. Going into the next round, however, they will be able to buy anyway, so it isn't the worst case scenario for them, but it does mean that in this round they've got to go for a flat eco. Perfect opportunity for the remaining CT side players to just farm up some cash. Sixer with the MP9, I think that's been thrown over by RPK, and it just basically means that he can make money for that AWP, which he will want to be bringing in at some point. Now, obviously, in the classic sort of Envy that we've seen of old, we used to see Kenny rotating with that AWP, so I am interested to see if they'll be similar. Well, Angel at least going to pick up 1. Other than that, easy cleanup for the French. As said, little invested into that round, and that's because they want to get a buy on the board in this one.
And they will do so with the 2 AKs already coming out. Again, Galil for Angel, so somewhat of a limitation, but it's not full firepower for EnVyUs either. RPK going to play the UMP, and let's be real, this is a map, again, that plays to these kinds of strengths, so it's not all too surprising to see him hang on to that. We'll see if his positioning also plays into its strengths, and we have seen him towards the porch of A, so it does. He can go inside of the apartments, try to take an early duel, maybe grab some information if need be, but Scream, meanwhile, inside the apps himself, will hold HellRaisers at bay. HellRaisers going for that early alt mid aggression, go to the apartments, and then just stop to see what the CTs throw their way, which so far hasn't been all too much. Just smoke grenades to section off the pushes to prevent them from furthering themselves deeper into the sites, but it's a boost from Angel, nearly netting them a frag. XMS dropped to 78. He falls back into the site itself. He has Happy by his side, and HellRaisers just burning down time.
And this was something that was really problematic for them in the first map, where, yes, they burnt down time, they waited for these aggressive pushes, but they never came in, and while Sixer, he will be there to start, Dead Fox unable to find any sort of trade, and he'll just set himself back up in position once again, holding another tight angle. We will have the nade thrown over in an attempt to isolate him, but he's very happy to just fall back, retake another angle. Exactly what he needs to be doing. The problem at the moment is this is a bit of a bait and switch. The bomb is over towards this B site. There's 30 seconds left on the clock, and you can have this push coming in from DevFox because it makes no difference. The rest of the push is coming in over towards B.
XMS, though, lying in wait, attempting to spring the trap, and as he goes wide, he takes the head of Stiko, doubles down, XMS holding it, but Zero is able to unroot him from the back of the site. The bomb's been dropped 10 seconds on the clock. There's just no time. HellRaisers could go for a final burst and attempt to plant the bomb, but at this point, Happy's in a prime position to spray them down. And it's EnVyUs with a 4th round consecutively put on the board. 3 players standing at the end of that one as well means their economy is going to be sitting pretty, while that of HellRaisers has for the most part been bottomed out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what was needed. Great play from XMS, it has to be said, to slow down that push, as the fake from DevFox actually worked wonderfully. He had 4 players surrounding him. No idea how he managed to survive that long with that many players on his case, but the big thing was XMS managed to drop 2 before he eventually falls, and even on that 3rd player, he did enough to just take the time away from them. They couldn't get onto the site before the rotation came in, and because of that, things became very, very easy for Envy to just finish off the last players and win themselves the round. Now, in this round, once again, we're going to see a force buy coming out from HellRaisers. They will have the max loss bonus in the next round, so you can see there's a few players with some extra cash. They bought down to just below $1,000 because obviously 3,400 added on. It will give them a buy. Maybe not with all the utility they want, so it will be better if they can get a bomb plant. And it means that also you can see players such as Zero will have an AK in this round in an attempt to do some early damage.
And I think Molotovs and just utility in general are going to be crucial for the HellRaisers executions. I mean, look at XMS's position to the back of B. Had they had Molotovs to throw it back into the site, then there was going to be time to take him down, use the cover of the smoke to plant the bomb. But all of that timing is thrown out the window when XMS is allowed to just stay there for free. So, real estate given up, but Sixer plucks Angel from the skies above. RPK doubling down as Bonding also toppled. Here comes Stiko, though, with a P250 and Zero's AK. He finds 2. Sixer still continues to do work off of the AWP, but the bomb's been planted. The job is done. Can they finish suit, however, with Sixer XMS 2v2? Stiko's gonna go wide. DeadFox takes the frag off of the Glock, but XMS trying to clutch. DeadFox on the site, behind the boxes, left and right. He dances, dodging bullets as XMS attempts to spray. Swaps to the sidearm, though. And there is still time. DeadFox toppled. XMS, my goodness. Making us all sit on the edge of our seats. EnVyUs find another round.
Yeah, that was a little bit too close considering what was actually invested into that round. And, well, that's probably more than they expected to get away with. We said that the bomb plant would help with the next round buy. They'll be able to get much more utility, which, as you said, will definitely help them in their takes, clearing angles, and especially even with just early damage done. We know that the CTs are going to be throwing those nades over towards the B site, and even just the damage they managed to do to the economy, if those nades aren't able to come in, it could be problematic. Sticko, that is not the way you wanted this to start. Very, very hurt early into this round, taken from the triple nade stack that came in. See a lot of teams doing this recently, but they will have some to throw back, and Happy now down to 5 HP. Surely gonna have to fade away.
Scream still holds his forward position, though. He's not giving up apartments for free, not as of yet. RPK is actually going to come assist him towards balcony, so EnVyUs with a bit of a read towards this apartment's presence, and HellRaisers do have 2 players just on the other side of the hall. Scream, he's got a nade primed, ready to flashbang for RPK to peek wide. Minute on the clock, and still HellRaisers at the bottom of mid. The bomb drops, so clearly not looking to make a commitment just as of yet. There's the pop flash, double peek. The flash connects, the shots do not. Zero peeks wide to his demise, traded back as Scream finds the frag, and a 4-on-4 is what we're left with. 40 seconds now on the clock.
Sixer still just attempting to play this rotational role. Will be sat in the CT spawn. It does look like they have a decent read on this situation. Happy obviously very low, but he's going to be boosted onto the plant pots, which will enable him to avoid any smoke that's thrown into CT. However, it's such a common spot, you would expect it to be checked by the T side. They do still have XMS on the site, but he's going to go down very quickly. Happy able to get one, but so low on HP. The trade is too easy for DevFox. And now the remaining 2 players are going to have to try and push back in. They do have some spare money, but I do reckon that Sixer, well, if he can get an exit and just fade away with the AWP, that'll be more than he needs to do.
Not even looking to gamble it. Instead, gonna retreat before contact's made. HellRaisers able to put another round on the board, and they really slowed down the pace of that round. I like to see that they showed some presence towards A. They tried to fight things out towards the apartments before rotating to the other side of the map. So exploiting the fact that the defense is unable to just lie in wait and just overwhelm them with sheer numbers, as we had seen previously towards B. This time they clear out the site while the smoke still sections off CT spawn, and it's for that reason HellRaisers are able to double down and find themselves a second round. EnVyUs still fine and dandy. I mean, plenty of cash flow sitting behind them. Scream on 10,000. Everybody else is going to be able to buy. So EnVyUs are still fine and should be able to put an end to this threat unless HellRaisers continue to punch their way through the defense.
And the problem for HellRaisers, although they do have a little bit of cash saved up, they've had a lot of sort of mixed buys. How many times RPK now tagged down by a teammate? 39 HP to start off this round. The early nade stack not going to do as much damage as wanted, but Sixer will be able to get one with the AWP. Quickly traded. XMS caught with an aid in hand will go down as well. 3-pronged defense of B turns into just one. Happy is all that remains. We'll be able to throw out a smoke. I think that actually goes off a little bit early on the Molotov. And because of that, it does leave a little bit of a gap. In the meantime, the T's, however, are going to rotate back. Scream is primed and ready in apps. He's been taking a very aggressive role so far and looks to push that a little bit further. Unfortunately, Zero is there and waiting and will close him down. And now you look at the CT defense. It's nowhere to be seen. Isolated from the site. And while RPK trying to flash back in, but Angel has his number.
Impeccable timing there from Zero to catch that wide peak. I mean, Scream was really the last line of defense. If he had been able to keep control of apartments, then suddenly HellRaisers have to be wary of two separate directions. But as he finds the first, and then Angel seals it towards Archway, it is just Happy on the opposite side of the map, looking to hang on to his M4 and his life, if he can escape with it. But Angel breathing down his back. Goes wide, finds the headshot, and there it is. HellRaisers finding themselves a third. And it's at this point that now EnVyUs are going to start experiencing some economic difficulties. They don't have everybody sitting on enough money to go for the buy, but they might actually force here. Scream fully invests.
Yeah, this is a weird buy.
It's really
think
weird.
Scream's almost relying on a kill to have any sort of presence into the next round. They do get 2,400, which will put him up to 3 grand currently. So if he gets a kill, that's a rifle. But that's not really a risk you want to be taking too much. HellRaisers, they have the money to buy back up, even if they lose, say, even 3 or 4 players in this round. It's not going to be the ideal scenario. They want to build up as much money as they can, but from a CT perspective here, I don't see how that was a good decision. Maybe Scream will prove me wrong.
They've given themselves something to fight with. I mean, 4 sets of Kevlar as well. That can't be neglected. Triple flashbang could have worked out, but it's XMS off of the Deagle to find Stiko. Angel again over towards Banana, able to do his dividend trade frags back. Happy, the next to fall, as Angel continues with this success. It's RPK and Scream towards the apps now that do try to hold the line at A. Again, the bomb just left the bottom of mid. HellRaisers not looking for commitments, but instead these opening picks, and now they find another. Zero to the back of Alt, finding RPK, who decides to get aggressive, prying for information or some kind of an equalizing frag, but instead takes a couple shots to the chest. And EnVyUs down to just 2. Both players over here towards the B bomb site look as though they'll save as HellRaisers find A absolutely cleared. No presence whatsoever from EnVyUs, who are on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, I quite like the fact they rotated back towards the A site, because the B site, especially with just one player sitting there, can do so much damage, whereas A, there's still a lot of close range angles, but I feel like there's plenty of places you could just nade out very, very easily, and a lot of angles that are quite easy to clear, especially when you push as a team. Sixer is actually going to spot one player out. Now, from the perspective of HellRaisers, taking the guns out of these hands, I feel like it's mainly just going to be to boost confidence rather than anything else, unless they really want that extra $300 that they get for getting a kill. Other than that, there's not really that much to actually remove from the MV side, and I suppose Scream at least keeping this weapon in play might make their chances of buying a little bit better, but even looking at what they have now, are they going to eco again?
Again, it's this very weird position they've put themselves in. If you think that the fact of the matter is that 4 of those players bought Kevlar, 3 of which then died. So if you add on $1,000 just to Happy, RPK, and XMS coming into this round, that is a I'm pretty sure they could have gotten all M4s plus an op in the hands of Sixer as he wants it. So now EnVyUs are just kind of giving away these freebie rounds. Their economy is making things a little awkward, and I don't even know if they realize how to navigate these weird waters. But either way, it's HellRaisers with, again, AKs and a huge advantage. And not only the AK is going to be the advantage, but the fact of the matter that they can get more and more rounds and a better economy behind them means that if or when EnVyUs get themselves another round, HellRaisers are going to bounce back perfectly fine. Things are getting a little weird, Tom.
Yeah, I am very confused, because that's another time as well that we've seen just the economy completely go the wrong way, with Sixer just having way more money than anyone else for no real reason, and then they end up saving again, so then he'll get even more money. Like, Sixer's gonna have another 2,900 going into the next round. What possible reason could he have to need, what, nearly $8,000?
Oh, team damage won't help. Angel gonna take a shot to the back of the head. Steeko trying to give EnVyUs a lifeline here, but Angel removes the opportunity. XMS the first to fall. Happy, though, doubles down. He finds himself one frag, and it is the 4v4. Now, Happy's position has yet to be dealt with, but the smoke grenade does section off the CT player. That's Scream, who starts to rotate away, so EnVyUs may be reading HellRaisers. And in the previous round, we saw HellRaisers give up banana control just to execute A, so I think EnVyUs actually have a good read in this situation. But Steeko's anchor play towards banana finds Happy as he attempts to rotate over. Now the execution coming forward from HellRaisers. Dead Fox leads the charge as the bomb carrier. Players in every which corner, multiple directions, but Bondic is able to deal with the threat until Scream off of the Mag 7 tries to take the far range fight, and that does not work out. He neither stops the bomb nor the player in pit. EnVyUs, however, finally with a bye.
Yeah, actually, there was only like 7 seconds left on the clock when he goes for that kill. If he drops the bomb and somehow manages to just dodge bullets like Neo for a few seconds, then maybe he could have actually won that round. But either way, after a few weird scenarios, we do have a bye, a very, very good bye, in fact, on the side of Envy. They have everything they desire, full nades, utility, and, well, even a shot through smoke from XMS to start.
Molotov sectioned him off, but he is still able to find safety back to the side of banana. Great play from XMS to open things up. And again, the bomb does sit towards the bottom of mid. So similarly to other rounds, HellRaisers, they're not looking for commitments. They've tended to put players towards banana and then either pushed on in or just left one there. Textbook T-side Inferno. And it's the use of the Molotovs that they're trying to force EnVyUs back. And they've done so successfully. Happy and XMS are still here on the site itself, but banana, for the most part, now belongs to the HellRaisers side, as does the apartments. Lots of map control being given to HellRaisers. They stand on the choke points in a good position to execute forward, but it is that execution in and of itself that they'll need to successfully accomplish if they want this round. EnVyUs still with the man advantage.
And again, 40 seconds left on the clock. Angel has actually managed to cross over a little bit. I wonder how aware they will be of his position. Happy setting up the flash. The rotation isn't going to be particularly quick either from the remaining players. Happy is going to go for a little bit of a peek. They need some sort of information, otherwise they can't really go for a rotate. And, well, we know for a fact that if the B site is taken, it's very difficult to get back. XMS peeks out wide and 2 instant entry frags. It may only be 15 seconds left on the clock, but that was perfectly timed from HellRaisers, and that ends the round. There's no challenge coming in from EnVyUs in this scenario. There's no reason to challenge in this position, because 4 versus 5, the chance of you retaking that B site is slim to none.
Yeah, that's the beauty of those kind of, last few moments execution. You get yourself into the bomb site. If you're able to overwhelm the defense, if the bomb's not dropped and the time doesn't play against you, then you leave the rest of the team for the defenders just so far sectioned off. You essentially present them a save on a silver platter, and they'll take it happily, seeing as 3 of their players are going to survive. But for HellRaisers to now have themselves 5 consecutive rounds and 6 on the board for the T side of Inferno, they too are happy with this outcome. So EnVyUs are going to cut their losses, keep 3 players moving forward, and seeing as how long they waited to get the full buy on the board, I don't think that they mind all too much. They're going to be able to easily reinvest into this following round, but we are already 12 rounds deep, Tom, so they can't really, buy off these minimal victories anymore. They need more rounds on the board.
Yeah, and there's always the promise as well that when they do win a round, or if they do win a round, HellRaisers are coming back. Like, 15,000 on 2 different players is enough to buy for the whole team, and that's not mentioning the rest of the money they have. Sixer, his orb's down, XMS peeks into the Molotov. It was double Molotov, so he was stuffed either way, and Angel's just gonna finish off with the triple. That B site, it's being practically stacked, and they still can't take control.
I mean, Angel is just on point today. Again, he's leading the charge here on Inferno. We saw that really kind of open up the A bomb site on Mirage, and this time around it's B. A great triple kill from him, and honestly, just a vintage performance from Angel. This is really fun to watch, but it does hurt if you, of course, are an EnVyUs fan. They are still only on 5 CT rounds. Again, they've been kind of forced into this save position as the bomb site falls for absolutely free. This is just HellRaisers swarming them at this point.
Yeah, it's getting to a point as well where you sort of look at their setup on the V site, and the fact that they have 3 players on B and they're still losing B is very much worrying. I think obviously they're trying very, very hard to actually get that map control early to take over. But the fact is, we've just seen the realization come out from HellRaisers. It's like, okay, they're going to go aggressive. We'll go aggressive back. And we're just winning their aim battles. Like, 3 kills for Angel there when there's 3 players looking down the sights at him. It should never happen. You have to give props to him to be able to hit the shots, but it just shouldn't happen. He shouldn't be able to get away with that much.
And especially when he sits on such little health as well, right? By the time the second player is firing at him, it's only going to take a single stray round. And it happened so quickly, I don't know if a player did get caught for EnVyUs with a grenade out, because they have been trying to go heavy utility. We've seen them try to use the Molotovs up close by the half wall, the smoke grenades towards the bottom of Banana, and I have seen XMS at least twice now get caught with a nade in hand. I really hope that's not the case in that situation, because it would have been the 3rd time it happens, and that's maybe just a little discomfort towards the B bomb site. I mean, oh, okay, we're already live. Back into it, Tom. There are guns on both sides. HellRaisers leading by 2, and again, so much money behind them. At this point, they will buy for the rest of the game. There's no questions about that.
Once more, we're going to see some aggression coming in from Scream, and he's going to be winning those duels. One thing has been pretty good for them has actually been that apps control. It's one of the spots where I can't really think of a time where they've actually lost apps. It's normally they lose short or they lose the B side. I think the B side has definitely been the much weaker of the 2 thus far. When they have the passive hold, it does seem to work a little bit better. And especially with the bad advantage. We'll see if we can actually... They can finally convert around. It's been 6 in a row now for the T side. Angel looking to catch out Archside Sixer again. And he will. Entry frags for days. The peek out. And Angel is just absolutely on fire. Can't quite convert the triple this time. And we will actually see a lot of damage as well done onto Dead Fox, who only has himself 10 HP. Uses smoke actually to fake out. Ooh, Happy not quite going to be able to convert. The rotation from the T's has already come in. XMS is in a position again to try and deny this push.
Sneaky positioning from XMS. He catches Stiko unaware, so a 3-on-2 ensues, and the bomb's going to rotate its way back towards A. Now, luckily for EnVyUs, Scream does still just hold the site, cowering inside the graveyard stairs, very committed to this position. And of course, the moment he hears the bomb plant, he can decide to peek wide, go for the double down on the frags, unless, of course, the bomb's escort does cover. But Dead Fox creeping towards the pit. He's been revealed. Bomb to the back of the site, and Scream with the heads-up play locks things down. No, Dead Fox will remove him, but at this point, the time is of the essence. Bomb will be retrieved, but not with enough time to plant. Dead Fox falls, and EnVyUs find their 6th.
Yeah, finally, some aggression working out for them. As we said prior to this, though, there is going to be absolutely no trouble for the T's to buy back up, even till the end of the half. They're not going to have an eco. There's no chance of that. But Envy can still at least win the CT half. Now, we have seen way more T-sided rounds on this map recently, at least, since it's been re-added. On Inferno, it used to be very, very CT-sided, but the team's still not quite able to take control as they used to, especially on that B site. So there is still an opportunity, but they need to at least get themselves the last couple of rounds. They want to have that 8-7 going into that second half.
Scream again aggressively inside the apartments. play we haven't seen netting them all too much of an early advantage, but HellRaisers again, more than content to buy their time and just feel out their opponents. I mean, this is what they were using during that big spree of victories. They'd slowly watch the bottom of middle, be extra cautious as to the pushes from EnVyUs, and then creep their way to banana control, only to rotate back towards the A site and kind of pick EnVyUs one by one. Again, this round, we see EnVyUs not get aggressive towards banana, but instead just try to hold the crossfire between Happy and XMS. And while this hasn't netted them any kind of map control or opening frag, it does still keep 5 players alive. The smoke grenade to the cross of CT will obscure Happy's vision, but he is still here to support and will push through if the time does call for it. But the T side, 4 players towards banana. Time is of the essence yet once more, 30 seconds.
Fox is going to try and fake things out, but the push is in, and already we're going to lose one. But Happy's doing the damage, able to trade back a couple. RPK will finish off Fox and leave it all onto Bondic. Bomb being planted. Sixer looked like he wanted to go through the smoke, but decides to wait just a moment for the rest of his team. Take this as a retake, and definitely the smart decision to be making. They are actually rotating relatively slowly, although they should know that he's on the site. Can't really have been in a position to challenge over towards banana. Hasn't had the time to cross, so it will just be on the site for Bondic. 3 players pushing in his direction. A couple of them low. He finds the first, looks for the second, but in fact has time to reload. Gonna throw out the smoke screen, pushing in, and will take his head clean off. Kit on Sixer as well. That's the main reason he didn't want to be going down early on, as that would have been lost, and Envy will retake versus 1.
Nicely done. I mean, you can see what Bondic was trying to do. He was so cautious as to Sixer's op being towards CT spawn that he didn't want to just peek wide early. But that ultimately gives the opportunity to Scream to push him out. And Scream, his position was known, of course, because he tapped the bomb. We could see Bondic playing against it. With only 16 health on Sixer, that clutch was dangerously close to occurring. In this instance, it does not, and 7 rounds apiece is what we find. 1 left here in the opening half of the final map of this BO3. XMS towards banana. Gonna see a lot of fire and flames here, but no terrorists as of yet, as HellRaisers gear up for what looks like an early A play. 4 players heading out towards the arches, but they split to the 2-2. Scream making contact towards the apps as Sixer plucks Bondic from the equation and then goes wildly running through the smoke, only to find Angel's back turned. Stiko trying to clear pit, takes one to the side. He falls down to 6 HP. And a great headshot onto XMS. 3 versus 2 as the bomb's been planted. HellRaisers, all they have to do is lie in wait here again in the final round.
Yeah, quite a bit of utility for Envy to play with. They've got Molotovs to clear angles, and they need to be using them. The problem is to actually get them into position. Already, Zero spot will be known. Stiko's still on the site. But there are actually 2 players over towards this pit. Will be isolated, but Zero's actually going to be able to stick through. Zero will get 1 with the Molotov, and now Happy has to try and push back in, and Stiko with a big round finishes off his triple kill, and HellRaisers will take the half 8-7.
Now, considering the start we saw from EnVyUs, I was getting flashbacks to Train, and then all of a sudden that gets turned on its head. But this was not a very back and forth kind of match. It was very spree based, right? 5 rounds for the CTs, followed by 6 from HellRaisers, just for EnVyUs to get another 2 before finally dropping the last. So it has been back and forth in regards to the score, but not as far as the economy or anything along those lines. I mean, I can still vividly remember the EnVyUs situation where it was just, you know, half buy after half buy. Very awkward situation that did allow for HellRaisers to run away with it for a little while. Off of the back, of course, of Zero and Angel going big. I mean, 16 and 14 frags, 30 combined between those two. The sum of the other 3 players doesn't even equal that. So it's really been those 2 players making a bit of a show here tonight, and they'll be hoping to close it out. I mean, what more could we ask for, Tom? Map number 3, 1 point difference at the end of the half. It's incredibly close.
Yeah, and for anybody who has missed any of this, this is the qualification match. One of these teams goes through, the other does not. That is it. Plain and simple. And obviously, the LAN itself is looking pretty stacked at the moment. We've had G2 and Fnatic both qualify from our EU side of things. And if I'm not mistaken, on the other side, we have Immortals and CLG. Now, CLG being a little bit of a surprise, but they have looked a lot better with their current roster. They're going to have their work cut out with the likes of SK, We've got our Astralis VP waiting in the lava team. They were invite teams. They didn't have to go through the qualification process. We just invited them at the beginning. But either way, back into the pistol. DevFox actually going to go for a nade. And well, that's an aggressive push straight out, but they've stacked 3 players here.
Ooh, and there's the return frag. Bondic peeks wide. He takes 2-0 with the third. Drops the bomb in the open. Happy's all that's left. And Bondic, with surgical precision, splatters his brains on the back of the wall. HellRaisers will find themselves the pistol.
Yeah, he doesn't even take a point of damage. Just peeking in and out. Doing exactly what was necessary of them. Exactly what we actually saw from Envy, where they did stack that B site early on, expecting the rush to be coming in. Now in this round, they are going to force back up with the pistols. I think even Six is fully invested into this one, so doesn't look like he's saving for the AWP. That's definitely understandable on Inferno T side. A lot of teams didn't pick it up on the old version, and I think a lot of teams won't pick it up on the new version either. It's mainly just for a counter. Apps control is looking to be taken. Sticker going to be pushed and taken out. First kill going the way of the T side, and DevFox is just waiting outside Apps to try and counter any further aggression.
HellRaisers at this point must be having flashbacks to the opening pistol, which they also won, only to be reset in the follow-up round. EnVyUs done a good job of at least starting off with the front foot. UMP acquired, going to be in the hands of XMS. And they could go for a split into the A site, but HellRaisers have rotated a 3rd player in this direction, so it'll be a tough fight, but they are just going to barrel out from the bout. Happy hits another headshot. Angel falls, and he doubles onto Bondic. RPK as well finds DeadFox, and it is all down to 0 in a matter of seconds. That whole defense obliterated. And it is, again, the one land standing all the way towards the B-bomb site. Nothing to be found at this point. EnVyUs with the hard reset. I mean, that has got to hurt.
Yeah, you got flashbacks to the previous half. I'm getting flashbacks to just Envy. This is what they always used to do. Second round buys were almost as if it was a full buy for them every single time. They were so good with these pistols, and well, I think RPK has just made that little bit better. He's been so consistent with the P250 all the way through this series. It's probably been one of his best weapons, so definitely disappointing for HellRaisers. Once again, winning both pistols and, well, not converting any of the rounds. Either way, we'll see whether or not they're actually going to invest too much into this next round. Obviously, Zero saving will actually drop a couple of pistols, which will leave him pretty low on cash himself. So the rest of the team, yeah, they are going to be forcing around it. Another UMP bought up for Bondic. DeadFox, we know that he wants the AWP, but he's still going to invest some money at least, leaving himself with $700.
Really good opportunity for EnVyUs to continue with this early momentum, very similarly to what they did in the opening half. Now, last time they got 5 rounds on the board consecutive. This time, we'll see how far they can ride this train. They're just shooting for the second currently, but with the advantage of plenty of guns. CTs push forward towards Banana. Angel just on the other side of the half wall, within the range of lethality off of the 5-7. Lots of terrorists nearby, but far enough, of course, to keep that weapon advantage at bay. The little boost here from Happy, and RPK has yet to spot him, but there's the jump. Happy sees it. RPK takes the frag, and Happy finds the other. That is teamwork in a nutshell. 5v3. B site has fallen. HellRaisers rotate 1 man over, and still EnVyUs with a minute. They're not looking to execute anytime soon.
Yeah, RPK will actually just sneak past, looking to try and clear the site itself. As you said, the rest of the team not really going to be executing as of yet, but with RPK with such an impressive position on the site, the likelihood is they are just going to go towards B, plant the bomb comfortably, and have their afterplants ready. The CT side not looking like they're about to challenge in any way, shape, or form, although they don't have a huge amount on their side at the moment in terms of investment. They will want to keep that into the next round because it is something to at least challenge with rather than the nothing which they would have if they die.
CT is just going to stay hidden over towards A site, so they're not looking to take fights. EnVyUs as well, more than happy to just hold on to with what they've got. Sixer clears the back of the site to ensure that there's no sneaky defuse. And of course, that's the way it ends. EnVyUs, they do convert the points, so they dodge the upset that HellRaisers experienced and will get themselves some momentum. Again, last time we saw them ride this out for 5 consecutive rounds. They put 2 on the board already, and with 5 players alive at the end of this one, their economy is already looking great. Not only on the CT side to begin with, but now also the terrorist half, which is always so crucial when it comes to the cash flow. Bomb plants and gun rounds to follow no matter what. 9-9 the scoreline. EnVyUs with the favor.
Yeah, and they've still got 4 SMGs in play as well, so this should be a great opportunity for them to make some money. Only had armor on 1 of the 4 players, and 2 of them without any armor whatsoever, or even anything to play with, just straight up USP and P2000. Still not going to be over-aggressing, because there is a likelihood in most of these sort of rounds that there's going to be some sort of stack. There isn't for HellRaisers. They're actually going to early stack A and then just rotate 1 player back towards the B site, but just the sort of thought that this is possible, it means the likelihood is we'll see something slower. However, Happy, he's already going to be clearing the aggressive angles over towards Banana and making his way forward onto the site. There are a couple of players with weaponry that could do damage, but he's still going to win the first and the second duel, once again cleaning up this B site. RPK is just going to be looking to feel out the site once more, clearing all the angles, which could be deadly to him. And it may just come to an exact same scenario that we saw in the last round, where HellRaisers will just want to keep whatever they can, maybe catch off someone as they exit, and the B site will have that bomb planted in a matter of seconds.
Ooh, that was sick. Vintage little Scream 1-tap. XMS finding ahead of his own as well. So what could have been saved has now been lost, barring what Bondic holds on to, but he too is about to round the corner. Nearly meets the ump of XMS, but instead he takes him down. And at this point, EnVyUs, they're on the hunt. They can smell the blood in the water. And Bondic's going to try to tuck tail into safety. The apartment's giving him somewhat of a cover, giving him closer range of engagement as well, so he could still deal damage to the Frenchman, and he will with another headshot. He's continuing to look for more, and RPK's been hurt here, so he sprays wildly to no avail. EnVyUs clear him out, still standing with 3 players at the end of that round, means that they are fine. EnVyUs now in the lead with AKs aplenty, while HellRaisers still sustaining some economic struggle. I mean, the WMP, the FAMAS on Stico, they're going to have plenty of nades. And again, this is a map that works well with the SMG meta, but you currently cannot favor that over rifles, let's be real.
Yeah, and this is an active choice to just have that abundance of utility over having the rifles. Bondic could have even dropped an AWP if he wanted to. Just because of those UMP kills he got in the previous round, he was able to make up $1,200, and that was enough to have it. But they really want to have that utility just to slow down these pushes. They're actually going to take aggressive control of Banana, a deep smoke, something that didn't work at all for Envy, but has worked wonderfully for them. They are in complete control of this section of the map, although they are deciding not to challenge. Instead, they're just going to set up Zero and possibly even rotate a 4th player over towards this A site.
Early banana control for HellRaisers. They do just throw Zero in that direction. And again, he was alone, so could have been the first to fall with absolute ease and no trade found. But instead, he falls back into the site, and now Angel will join him side by side. The CT is very much committed as the CT smoke comes through. That's going to be indicative of some presence. EnVyUs feeling out the B-bomb site, but not yet executing forward. I mean, this is actually quite weird. They've got 3 players to the top of mid trying to feel towards arches, but the bomb's still all the way back outside of apartments. EnVyUs have taken map control, but they've also burned the clock down to 30 seconds. They are running out of time and also utility to execute. They'll have the smoke on XMS to presumably blur out the CT spawn. The Molotov could be used to burn Zero out of this position, and that would leave Angel to have to rotate to the back of construction. But instead, the Molotov blocks off 1 rotate. Angel's able to find a frag before the smoke does plume. Zero from the back, though, spraying wildly, deals damage, but not enough to take the frags. The bomb has been planted. 4v3 in the favor of HellRaisers.
Yeah, Scream quickly able to trade things back. It is looking like we're going to see a challenge coming out. Happy in a decent position, just waiting back. He's going to hear 2 players running. They're not going to check the angle, but they eventually kill him anyway. It doesn't matter, and the last 2 players are stuck together in the corner of the site. This really isn't the best place to be. May not expect a second player to be here, so maybe Six is just going to play that bait, almost try and pull them in. Now, will they check the angle again for Scream? Yes, they will. Sticko going to finish it off anyway, and that will be another round on the board for HellRaisers, taking them a little bit of time to get back up after being knocked down in the second round of the half. But they even up the scoreline. They haven't quite broken the economy, though.
No, that's it. They certainly have work still ahead of them, but for them to get a round on the board earlier on than they did in the first half, that's crucial. Essentially, once they lose the second round, they've given up the pistol conversion points, and that's exactly what we see, the 3-round rebound from EnVyUs. But now it is going to be HellRaisers standing competitive on rifles across the board. All 10 players here with primary weapons, no AWP, plenty of nades, plenty of kits. This is the real meat and taters of this segment, the full buy. But currently, nothing found other than map control as HellRaisers throw 2 players to the bottom of Banana, the smoke grenades creating a screen in front of the terrorists' vision. EnVyUs instead go for apartments control. So while HellRaisers take one portion of the map, the Frenchmen find another.
They are going for a late challenge, but it isn't going to work out. The setup from Zero and Angel converts once again, and I am liking the difference of these two team styles. The T's, in this case, Envy, very consistently taking over apps control, whereas we saw HellRaisers always wanting Banana, and they nearly always got it. That was one of the main ways that they won a lot of their rounds, was taking over Banana control. So the different styles are starting to come out from these teams, and well, we're going to find out which one actually works better. So far in this round, it seems like the Banana controls worked wonderfully for HellRaisers, but now they're going to get challenged over towards A.
Creeping their way forward from the arches, though. Already making contact with Dead Fox. He spots bodies, but doesn't know how many are there. 6 are still inside the apps as well. They're going to attempt the pinch onto the A bomb site, and this is a 3-on-3. So the trade frags could be found, the bomb could be planted, and EnVyUs will open up shop with Scream taking down Stiko, and then Bondic as well. But Dead Fox to the back of the site, trying to hang on to his life, takes down Sixer, and on Scream, the 5 HP is all that's left. Just enough time to plant, but already HellRaisers nipping at his heels. They've managed to rotate their way into the bomb site. Angel overwhelms him, and Scream does fall. HellRaisers in the lead now. 11-10 the score. Still very minimal, but they avoid that hard reset, Tom, and that's what was crucial.
Yeah, nice attempt. Scream actually able to do a couple of frags into the site, but the problem was they didn't expect DevFox to be in the corner, and he was able to trade them straight back and then basically just keep that 2-man advantage that they gathered up towards the end of the game. And I'm just really enjoying the way the HellRaisers are using their utility. They're able to still have nades into the last 30 seconds of the round, which basically just means Envy have to try and force the issue versus very, very tough conditions. And, well, because of that, it does worry me a little bit that if they start getting, like, whittled down a bit, they might not do as well. But if they keep going the way they are and they end up resetting Envy and building up money, they could just whitewash this match.
Apps control again going to be favored here for the Frenchman. 4 players creeping their way in. RPK playing the anchor towards the T-spawn, just waiting for any kind of an aggression from Banana. And HellRaisers are taking this position yet once more. But they've fallen back to the site again. So very repetitive play from HellRaisers at the B-bomb site. But it's been working out. They haven't lost any numbers early on. They've, of course, seen that there is no aggression from EnVyUs, who instead have been opting to go for mid, which they now take by storm, pushing 3 players through apartments and into the middle of the map. The smoke grenade keeps them at bay, and there's only 2 players here for the defense as well. Things could get interesting.
First kill will come in over towards this B site, but now they have to start rotating players back because there are only 2 to try and defend on this A site versus 4. It is going to be the quick push coming in, surrounding these CT players. They've already used this position once onto DevFox, but he's still going to get away with it again. Sticko takes 1, but it's DevFox doing the damage. He's just going to crouch back, baiting out this time, doing his job absolutely perfectly, and takes a triple. Lovely stuff from DevFox, and I have to feel that once again, if the same position is used on you twice, something's going a little bit wrong.
Yeah, there's definitely the opportunity to have expected such a play, but that's not the case, and now EnVyUs find themselves into economic despair. Not everyone can afford a buy here. I mean, they do still have a nice chunk of change. Happy at 2.7 and XMS as well is kind of the biggest limitation here, but Scream could buy RPK as well. And at this point, of course, they're sitting on 4 round loss bonus, so the $2,900 is enough to put everybody in the buy and the follow-up, but I'd like to see just, a nice little half buy, keep things modest. We really haven't seen any op play whatsoever, though, on Inferno, really. nothing substantial or impactful.
No.
Arguably.
I think Sixer picked it up a couple of times, and although there were a couple of moments where it looked like he was going to have a huge impact, some of the rounds that came towards the end, like the last round, in fact, I think he got 2 kills, but they lost it anyway. So, other than that, well, as I said, don't really expect to see it too much on the T side unless it's as a counter for aggression, which I suppose with the early banana control could be something that works for Envy. But at the same time, we're looking at this round. They have gone for a bit of an investment. Angel taking a very aggressive stance this time. He's got that UMP, wants to get close, try and take down these early frags. Happy is actually going to tag him a little bit. And again, they do just seem to have a lot of control over towards Apps, but you have to wonder whether this is just because the CTs are letting them, and in this case it definitely is. Deadbox will spray, but actually only manages to get 1. It's the P250 of RPK to do the damage once again, but there's Sticko, drops the bomb, cleans things up, and leaves just 1 man. Happy, he's got an AK, he's going to be pushing him, using the pistol in fact, and brought it back to a position that he could actually win. He has the bomb, has the time to choose his plant spot. Will just be faking it to try and bait them in, but that may actually work. They're going to line up. He's going to get the first, but can't quite get the second. It's not enough. Zero will convert, but at least they're making things a little bit more costly in those anti-eco rounds.
Man, that was so incredibly close. I mean, the player in the back couldn't even spray because of how well they lined up. Unfortunately for Happy, the recoil gets away from him there. And HellRaisers find 13. So a 3-point lead here for the HR side. But there's guns aplenty here for both teams. 4 victories in a row for HellRaisers, looking for the 5th. And they've changed in nature. It was those very close retake rounds that HellRaisers first got on the board, but now they've been following suit with some convincing rifle rounds. 4 players staying up at the end of the 22nd certainly helped out. Of course, the economy for the counter-terrorists as well, starting to grow, but still limited. So this could be very easily just swung back the other way into EnVyUs' favor. But they're going to need a gun round soon enough as HellRaisers are getting dangerously close to the finish line.
And once again, banana control is going to be completely enabled for this CT side. But they haven't really been challenged too much. It has to be said, the A site has definitely been the favored site for Envy to attack. And actually this time, they're going to get the entry as well. XMS will start things off. The smokes are now going to be thrown into the site as they're just going to look to challenge here. And now the rotation is coming in from behind. Angel will be able to catch 1 with his XMS. He gets a 2nd and a 3rd kill. Double entries onto the site. And as you already mentioned, the economy, it's not too good for the CT side. So they're just going to have to fall back, opt to try and save, keep the weapons they have. But even with these 2 weapons in play, the buy may be a little bit questionable.
2 players still up. They can drop up and over. Zero's going to be able to get himself a buy. Stiko, with the outcome, should be able to drop something of a gun as well. So it's going to be a weird territory for HellRaisers, but they're definitely going to be uncompetitive stance. I mean, they've definitely been in worse positions already in this map, but EnVyUs to find a crucial round. I mean, I think EnVyUs was running out of time. If they hadn't won this round, HellRaisers on 14. HellRaisers has the economy to make the forest buy, but at this point, it's EnVyUs who, if they follow suit with another round, are easily going to find themselves potentially tied up. I mean, it could be 13-13 just based on the fact that HellRaisers will bottom out their coffers. They're going to have no economic stability behind them. This game is still very much in the open, very much in the air, despite HellRaisers still having a 2-point lead.
Yeah, the one thing that I would like to point out is the fact that one of the crucial things for HellRaisers has been their utility. They have been so focused on how to use those Molotovs, those HEs to slow down these pushes. And this time, yes, they have the smokes, but in terms of incendiaries, there's only 1, and that's on Sticko, so it could limit them quite a bit. I'm waiting to see if they can still play with slightly less money in their bank accounts. Now, in terms of the T side, we know they like to challenge early over towards apps. We know they like to try and take control of this A side. We haven't really seen them challenge B at all, and you can see the way that this has gone so far by how HellRaisers are actually playing this round. There are now 4 players on this A side.
Similarly, 4 players for EnVyUs as well in this direction, so we could see ourselves quite a brutal clash of gunfire if EnVyUs decide to execute forward. Now, speaking of utility, both teams still have a whole bunch of nades to chuck. into the execution. How many want to be saved for the afterplant? That's the question, though. Sixer finds Angel through the edge of the archway. He's the first to fall. Double Molly follows suit, and so Stiko to the back of pit. He's waiting for Happy, and he falls into his lying arms. There is Zero, fully flashed to the top of Banana. He's toppled over, and now the rotation from EnVyUs immediately gearing into the B-bomb site. They've read this like a book. Nobody here for HellRaisers to stop EnVyUs taking themselves the 12th round, unless HellRaisers fancy their chances in the disadvantaged retake.
That is absolutely wonderful mind games for Envy. They've been hitting this A site so much that the one time that HellRaisers decide to leave one player there, they go B. I love it. It's a horrible scenario for HellRaisers because normally they're in a position where there will be a couple of players here waiting for this push to come in. Instead, Zero gets isolated and that's the round done. There's no point trying to challenge from here on out. They'll get 1900 added back in, and actually Stiko may be able to drop something for them to play with, or a FAMAS from DevFox as well, so it won't be the worst buy in the world, but it does mean that we are getting back towards a sort of crunch time situation. 13 to 12, HellRaisers still with the lead in their hand, but ever so close to being reset, and the T's actually starting to make up a decent economy behind them as well.
It's critical to think as well that the hard reset versus EnVyUs could have been on the table there, so HellRaisers had themselves a prime opportunity to shut down this potential comeback. But that's not the case. We are now just a one-round difference separating the two teams, and a full buy here for the terrorists, excuse me. CT's not going to opt in for all too much. Both Zero and Angel spending bare bone minimum, only the 5.7s found. It's the 3 rifles grandfathered forward from the previous round. HellRaisers 2 players to the top of Banana. They're going to feel out their opponents. So I think HellRaisers are going back to their standard default. We saw in the previous round the 4-man A stack, which ultimately didn't pay off and cost them, if anything. That has now been replaced with what was working earlier on. Cheeky little boost from Bondic. He's going to put a player onto the top of the porch. This is 3 players for HellRaisers, all grouped up on the porch side of A. Very interesting position, I think.
Yeah, and actually, interestingly, they're all the rifle players as well. There are just pistols currently set on the B side. That's why they're playing so passively at the moment. So the T's, if they do opt to push into A, they will have all the rifles against them. Now, it has to be said, they have been able to take down these players most of the time, but then the retake has been where it's worked out. There's not going to be much of one. Flash comes out, instant trade, and actually it's a spray down. A massacre of the T side. 3 players lost. The rifles working out. They are actually going to go back rotating, however. RPK looking to take down these remaining players. Both of them only with pistols. A decent position from Zero, but he's not able to do anything, and RPK turns the round on its head. Back to a 2 versus 2. And now, well, we will have a retake attempt, but it's only going to be 2 players. Luckily, both with rifles.
Luckily, both with kits as well. Double flashbang and frag for utility. Bondic leading the charge here on 100 HP. 1 player close to his right, both towards construction. And this is where HellRaisers are going to go for the retake. They take the first, but Bondic caught with a knife in hand. Allows for Happy to slip through his fingers, and the fire sections him off, so the time will tick ever so quickly. Bondic still unable to get to the site itself. Happy could have just clutched this out with a great molly and the tucking of his tail. And there we have it. HellRaisers going to give up the round. EnVyUs find 13. It's a tied ball game. And my goodness, the triple rifle stack pays off. They're able to find the huge advantage. And if only Zero had shut RPK down, we see one of the 2 B-site defenders get sectioned off because of the smoke grenade. And he's able to create a distraction. We could see RPK looking in his direction. Zero had such a good opportunity to find that headshot, but a missed opportunity is all he comes up with. And again, the tied game.
All in all, though, not the worst round in the world. At least they're going to do some damage to the MV economy, considering they didn't have 2 players buying at all. Like you said, it was a little bit unlucky, really, that neither of those pistol players were able to just pick up 1 kill. Because you have to think that in a 2 versus 1, HellRaisers would have been able to take that. Either way, we are going to have the full investment this time. They did save on 2 of their players in the last to make sure that they could get a buy into this round. And they should have a decent amount of utility as well to play with, which has been a big part of their CT side so far. However, with 3 rounds streaking over on the MV side, they're the ones with the momentum behind them as they look to break this CT economy once again.
Decent enough buy for HellRaisers. I mean, they've been able to weather the storm as far as economy is concerned. Even the round where they had the pistols, they remain competitive. So damn close, but not close enough. 4 rounds. All that's left here. FAMAS in the hands of Zero as HellRaisers get aggressive towards the bottom of Banana, but again they fall back. They've been able to push up towards the cubby, towards where Tree used to be, and then every single time they're able to get that much real estate, they just fall back safely to the site. Of course, there was the round where Dead Fox gets removed from the top of the wall, and this time it's Zero who's just going to linger in this direction, allowing for HellRaisers to rotate the 4th player towards A. But if Zero just gets removed instantly, then we've seen EnVyUs already pick up the pace and barrel towards the B site. That outcome, again, could be in the cards, but for the time being, EnVyUs, with a minute on the clock, look as though they're going to feel out A.
Much more passive position this time from Bondic. Just going to be waiting towards that archway. Has a little pot flash set up if needed. Not making their way out as of yet. The bomb, in fact, is looking like it's about to head over towards this B side. There's only 35 seconds left on the clock, so the likelihood is Envy are going to look to try and rotate through the arches. Bondic is there to spot, but this is where the split comes in. They haven't done this yet, and they're going to leave the remaining players on B side isolated. Angel knows what's going on now, but it may just be that little bit too late. 20 seconds on the clock. They've been able to deny them with a Molotov, but they're already coming back through the church, trying to pincer onto these players. RPK with the entry. There's only Zero left, and he's going to go down. The rotation from the CT side is just that little bit too slow, and just a tiny tweak to what has been a strategy that's been utilized quite a bit from Envy, and it leaves them completely out. But an entry kill, 3v3.
That's the opening they needed. They are back into the 3-on-3. 2 players from Banana, 1 from CT spawn. Happy gets removed off of the side of the coffins. Now they're sectioned off into construction. Sixer tumbles. It's all on Scream. 1v3, and he too falls. HellRaisers coming out of nowhere with the retake at the man disadvantage. They have lost positions where they were favored, and they turn around to just come up big in a crucial round. I can't believe they made that happen. I mean, we've seen them come up short in better situations, and now they decide to clutch?
Well, yeah, because it has to be said, everything other than the hold on the B side there was done perfectly by EnVyUs. They bait out their opposition by showing them a strategy they've done many times and then changing it. And then just in afterplants, they completely lose it. They're unable to hold on to the B side 4 versus 3, which... it's one of the most difficult sites in the game to actually retake. It's very, very hard to get back into B Inferno. So the fact that they just managed that is huge. And, well, now both teams' economy sits on the brink. We could be seeing the game won based on finances alone, as the winner of this round will be leaving the other one in a detrimental position.
So much riding on the outcome of this round. HellRaisers to potentially secure OT, EnVyUs to keep things competitive, economy on the line as well for both directions. This is as close as it gets, Tom.
They're going to hit this A site once again by the looks of things, taking some early aggression, hoping that somebody will peek out. The first time we've seen an AWP over on this CT side as well. This could be the switch up that is needed. RPK peeking in. No way he was expecting that. And they've just left DevFox there as the pillar of defense of the B side. It means that they have a very good position ready for this hit over towards A. 3 players will be on the site. A 4th very ready to rotate in. Zero going to get 1. Sixer trading back, leaving it into a 3 versus 3. And Scream to do the damage though. 2 quick headshots, leaving it just DevFox. His AWP in hand. The first time we've said that in this game, and now he has to clutch.
The AWP to make it ever so difficult, but he does have the kit. Screams over towards the pit. Sixer to the back of the site, cowering behind the boxes. He makes contact. Dead Fox falls, and EnVyUs keep the dream alive. Not to mention hard resetting the economy of the HellRaisers, who don't have enough cash to justify a full buy on every single player. So if they decide to gamble on this round, the 29th, and honestly I think they should, then they're going to be at a disadvantage somewhat. But again, we've seen them fight back from worse situations. How crucial were those 2 headshots from Scream? He just does what he does best. Cracks skulls wide open, as well as the A-bomb site in a matter of seconds. forcing the opera of all players to come in for the retake. I mean, we saw Dead Fox, as you said, the pillar of the B-site defense. So many times they'd had top banana control and never went any further than that. This time they leave the peak wide open. RPK unsuspectingly walks into the scope of the op, giving a great opportunity to HellRaisers. 5v4, the bomb was never down, and yet EnVyUs crawl their way back into this game. Double ump, M4, and 2 5.7s is all that HellRaisers have in this round.
It seems at the moment it doesn't matter who has the situational awareness to have the better setup. It's just whoever's on point, and in that round it was Scream. In the previous it was the CTs on the retake, and well, back to an aggressive point again. Angel pushing down the bottom of the banana. He's got himself a 5-7 in this close range spot. I don't expect them to fall back, at least for a little while in this scenario. They don't have the utility to enable them to just constantly keep re-smoking all these spots. And once again, heavy A-site presence coming out from this T-side. Although they haven't dedicated themselves just yet. Plenty of time to play with. And the more time that they waste, the more of this utility is going to be expended. However, here we go again. The same flash, it normally points out that there is going to be a push coming in. 3 players currently over towards this B site. But actually, they may have just read this wrong. Angel up close will be able to hit the first headshot. Takes down one. Happy in the meantime grabs another kill, but Sixer has opened things up. They're going to go pushing in towards B, and this is exactly what is wanted by HellRaisers. They've got 2 players waiting. It may not be the best weaponry, but that smoke... Oh, are they actually going to dedicate? They'll have to do it so late. They've got 25 seconds left on the clock. There is huge potential for them to actually be able to drop this bomb. Happy not in the right position. There goes DevFox on the other side, but now the push comes in.
Molotovs to the wrong spots, though. The CT is able to hold it. Zero stops the first, and it's Sixer to push forward. He's got the bomb and a frag, looking for more as Bondic falls. It's going to be down to Dead Fox. 1v2. The bomb planted in the nick of time. And the flashbang reveals his position. Dead Fox to come in from CT. Already the AK trained on his head. Sixer finds it. EnVyUs will secure themselves the 15th round in overtime at the very least. HellRaisers left with barely anything in their bank accounts. Ample opportunity to take a pause. All they need is one more round to force OT. I mean, it has been a close game. It has been a close series. Why not, Tom? Why not extend past regulation into the overtimes? But it's going to be tough. 5 AKs across the board for EnVyUs, and again, a very weakened buy from HellRaisers, despite them nearly making it happen in that previous round. I mean, we had the players on top of the boxes slow things out, but if it wasn't for Sixer clearing corners so casually, EnVyUs could have lost it.
3 imps, 2 5.7s, and wow, the hope of HellRaisers lies in this one round. If EnVy win this round, they have made it to the LAN. Not in the most amazing fashion. It's been a very, very close game. But they've still got one more to do if they want to take this over the line. Aggressive push once again from Angel. Actually going to go pushing further down the bottom of Banana into mid. They actually have a crossfire this time with Angel and support from Zero. It does leave a little bit more over towards the A side, and this is the most aggressive we've actually seen them go all game. They've gone into apps as well, something that up until this point EnVy have had for free. So this switch up, yes, it's right near the end, but it could actually catch out the T's, not something that they will be expecting, considering how easy it has been to take control so far. A minute left on the clock. They're still playing very passively, but they are looking like they want to challenge Banana a little bit more than they have in the past. Only 2 players there this time, which actually fairly abnormal for HellRaisers. They've had 3 players here almost all of the time. But this peek down mid, can Sticko actually spot anything through the corner of the smoke? He can't, but it's going to be Angel. First kill, looking for more. Zero is there to support, and he's doing the damage as well. Will give them the man advantage as the push is going to come in onto this B site. Quick on the rotate is going to be Sticko. They still have the disadvantage when it comes to weaponry.
Happy's up close to the smoke. Sixer's going to plant the bomb. The 5.7 shells just raining through. No contact made. Happy ever so cautious of the flank, but HellRaisers already have 3 players near the site itself. Sixer drops one as Dead Fox gets splattered to the back of construction. Bondic takes his place with Stiko by his side. He's going to retrieve that second UMP. Sixer to the back of the site. He finds yet another, and it's all just down to Stiko trying to push in. He doesn't have time. There is no kit, and Sixer dancing from the back of the boxes falls. 5-7 in hand, but Happy tucking tail, trying to get back to Bananas. Stiko repeats.
Oh!
He takes the headshot.
He's done it.
Is there time? He takes the kit, and he's going to find the defuse.
Oh my goodness, it can't get any closer. HellRaisers are going to get this to OT off the back of a Stiko clutch. Ludicrous round, and we're not done yet. We are not done yet. Still, we will have to find out who is going to be getting through to this final spot. It's not going to be easy, whoever's going to take it. And it's looking like, well, we've at least been told that there's no more tactical pauses. I think both teams have had their fair few. HellRaisers, I may have actually lost count of how many tactical pauses they've had. But whatever it was that they said, if it was Stiko, please kill everybody at the end of the round, that was an incredible call. But, again, it's just coming down to these late round scenarios. It doesn't seem to matter who has the better read, has the better positioning, even has the better weaponry. It's just who's on point in that round.
I'm still somewhat at a loss for words here, Tom. I can't. The fact of the matter is you know, he doesn't have a defuse kit, so obviously that's what forces him into the faster play. And the fact that he retrieves one while peeking wide to take the kill onto Happy, right? Like, he had to force that fight regardless of whether or not he had a kit, and it's that play that nets him the ability to defuse in time. I mean, what a fantastic way to close out regulation. What a fantastic way to keep this game alive. I mean, why wouldn't we want this to just keep going?
And I think my favorite thing about it as well is it's not like in the previous matches where, for example, on the first map, yes, it was a stomp for Envy, but we didn't really see Sixer performing, or sort of in the second map where there were a few, like DevFox wasn't really on the map that much. He was pretty quiet. Every single person has had their moments. The minimum kills in this game is 15, and the maximum is 24. That really isn't that much of a difference whatsoever. Every person has had their impact in these rounds. Sixer currently sat at the top of the board for his team, stepping up big in a lot of these clutch situations. We've seen Angel on the T side, incredible on the entries and the aggressive pushes that's come in. Stiko, he's bottom of the board for this team, just clutched out around, I think the last couple of rounds, in fact. I think the retake that they had 3 versus 4 was largely down to Stiko. So it just comes into perspective that in this game, there is no weak link. It's just about the individual rounds, and that is going to become even more important when it comes down to overtime, as it is just going to be MR3. Now, obviously, MR3 10k, that means if you lose 2 rounds in a row, mainly on the CT side, you're going to have troubles with your buy. So you still have to have that little bit of tactics to sort of make sure you don't run out of money for obvious reasons. And I'm wondering if we will see an AWP for either of these teams, because we saw DevFox with it once, and that was done tactically to set him up on Banana. Other than that, I think only like Sixer on the CT side, yes, he had it over Arch, but other than that, it really wasn't that much of an impact in this game at all.
Yeah, no, the AWP presence has just been lackluster. And I think that Inferno is one of those maps that you don't necessarily need it, so it's not too surprising. But at the same time, it just kind of, you know, pays homage to the fact that it has been rifles and force buys and nitty-gritty plays all game long. I should have kept count, actually, as to how many rounds were won by the disfavored purchase of either pistols or umps. And that's not just for one team, but both teams kind of sneaking away with those sorts of rounds. It's been fantastic to watch. And honestly, I have a hats off to Angel, because I think that, you know, while HellRaisers are a very different team this year than they have been in the past, he's not really the guy that a lot of people will ever look to, per se. You know, it's really a lot of hype built around the opening of DevFox, the young up and coming presence of Zero and Stiko. But Angel's been a key component of the HellRaisers lineup for so long now, and to see him be able to continually just kind of resurge into form when it matters most. That's the key point. When it matters most, it is Angel who leads the charge. I mean, 24 frags in this game. Sure, he's got all the deaths as well, which just goes to show that he is constantly putting his team in a position to finish out rounds. You know, he's been entry fragging quite incredibly well, both on Mirage and now Inferno. It's just really cool to see him in particular hitting this groove, so to say.
Looking like should be getting into this one relatively shortly. Okay. If Happy can spell ready, then we'll be underway. But, yeah. Obviously, we spoke a lot about HellRaisers and their side of things. I think no doubt that Scream has had a huge amount of impact, especially in the latter rounds on the T side, just able to make sure those entries come in. Happy as well in the clutch situation towards the end. Even just playing it smart, getting the kills not always what it's cracked up to be. If you can just survive, dance around a little bit, and use your utility to deny anything. But our questions have been answered. DevFox, he's got his AWP, and he may actually be going for the aggressive peek into middle.
Trying to hold the angle, but nothing here just as of yet. So instead he gets aggressive. This is a big change up in the approach of HellRaisers. They've talked this over, and while he doesn't find a pick at first, there is RPK, who peeks wide to his demise. T side lose themselves a player. HellRaisers with a man advantage early on here in the opening round of overtime. Again, MR3 10K, not 16. Smoke to mid, buys some times. HellRaisers at this point should just turtle shell up into the sites themselves and wait for the Frenchman to force the execution.
Yeah, another position where Envy have had mid control given to them so often that challenge is probably going to send a shiver down their spine. They'll have to be a little bit more careful. They are going to smoke off and leave DevFox to just rotate back away. Once again, looking like they're about to hit onto this A site. Similar fashion to what we've seen previously. Happy just lurking around the back parts of the apartments to try and wait for the rest of his team to make the move. There's only 40 seconds left on the clock. I'm surprised we haven't seen any more sort of aggression coming out from the remaining CTs over towards this B side. But here comes the push. Molotov's thrown out, still in the corner. But DevFox, he's got his AWP. He's going to get himself another couple of kills, leaving just Happy left to try and challenge this one. And it's not going to happen. The switch up works wonderfully. They don't actually retrieve it, though.
Yeah, that's a little awkward. Now, luckily for them, of course, they win that round, so they'll be able to buy the op up next. And here's the beauty of overtime, right? Is if on the CT side you lose those first two rounds, then $10,000 isn't always enough to guarantee you guns in the last. So the fact of the matter is, with HellRaisers winning this opening round, they guarantee themselves guns for the most part in the rest of this first overtime half. Of course, the op reinvestment, that's going to hurt a bit, but HellRaisers with DeadFox to the bottom of mid find themselves the opening pick once more. DeadFox doing work, but this time he's taken down. And that did immediately give EnVyUs a 4v4, which was only stripped from their fingers as a player towards Banana is removed from the equation. EnVyUs 3v4 now, man disadvantage, but they've gotten themselves creeping through middle in a good position to hit the A site at the man advantage as well, seeing as HellRaisers still have two towards B.
We're going to see the push in. XMS starts things off, takes the head clean off of Sticko. It's going to be down to Vondik on the site, missing the first shot, but does connect eventually. Still just trying to dodge his way around, and he's done what was needed of him. He takes more than enough. 2 kills, leaving Happy into the clutch. Now, positional-wise, this is where Happy can sometimes rock your world, but he's going to have to do it versus 2. They're both pushing together, looking for the first. Angel going to come creeping round. Actually gives him the individual fight, but Angel's not missing. He hits the shot, takes the kill, and they've got themselves the second round.
Ooh, that's crucial. I mean, Happy in a great position, but I think he's a little caught off guard by Angel's face. You could see him just kind of peeking the closer corner and then having to re-engage the second time, which gave Angel that split second of a moment to prepare his crosshair and hit himself the headshot. HellRaisers now 17 rounds up onto the board. One more for the clean sweep of the CT side. That would be a phenomenal outcome for them. EnVyUs still fighting for the victory. If they lose this round, then it's going to be double overtime or a loss for the Frenchman. That's what they'll be fighting for. So this time round, they sit at the back of mid, alt and mid themselves, just waiting for some kind of a peek. And HellRaisers know better. DeadFox gets aggressive back-to-back rounds. He's not going to triple that up, but instead sits within the site itself. Sticko with his eyes on apartments, waiting for some kind of a push, and EnVyUs slowly but surely creeping their way forward.
Yeah, HellRaisers being a bit of a cruel mistress in this round by showing that AWP off in the last couple, having plenty of money to buy it again, but just saying, nope, you can buy a counter AWP 6er, but it's not going to have any value to it, because now, well, this is where the sort of T-side AWP isn't really very helpful, because they're not peeking, they're staying passive, they're waiting. He doesn't have any armor as well, so to those nades, he's going to be so much weaker. which, as already said, HellRaisers have been very good at utilizing. Bondic is starting to make a bit of an early rotation back towards the B side, though. Looking like a little bit of a misread coming out from the CT side, leaving only 2 here to defend versus what will be the full force Envy.
Yeah, because if Sixer continues creeping up Archway, then he's going to have a line of sight to Pit, and that's a great position to have an AWP. You can see Bondic now rotating back, but he's already allowed one player to creep by, and Sixer holds the angle, pinning him in the corner. Dead Fox holds the line towards the A site, though, as he finds one. It's XMS to find himself a frag as well. Sixer gets to the site as the bomb will be planted, but HellRaisers are already boxing in these terrorists. As one player drops off Balk, that Stiko traded out, happy with the response, and Angel coming in from the porch. A man by his side, one towards Library in the form of Zero, but flashbangs every which way, holding things back at the time being. Utility has gone low for both teams. Remember, Sixer has no armor, and the op up close on the site. Angel trying to find the angle, but it's XMS on top to be removed. Sixer hits one. Pit still serving as an issue, though. Happy from behind, finding himself the headshot, and Sixer keeps them alive with the final frag. EnVyUs have an opportunity to still win this game, so long as they clean sweep their CT side. If not, double overtime also, maybe, in the cards.
Yeah, it's so close in that round. Sixer actually working wonders with that AWP, and not able to isolate Happy over towards that Pit is gonna force them into a bit of an awkward position. Now, you do have to remember that over on that T side was actually where both teams won the majority of their rounds. It is only by 1, so it doesn't really show too much, and also the economy game is going to be completely different. Sixer straight in with that AWP and looking like he may go for an aggressive peek over towards Banana. Now, it's been a while since we spoke about the T side, but one thing that we saw quite heavily from HellRaisers was actually that aggression over towards the B side. Now, they're not going to go for a fast pick. That's mainly because they know there's hefty utility over on the CT side, but Stiko is now going to slowly push his way up and attempt to pre-fire through the smoke.
HellRaisers taking ample time to creep forward through the apartments, similarly to what we did see from EnVyUs, but Scream has been continuously playing this porch position. Just sitting on the balk, keeping his eyes inside of apartments as well, playing that short side A with RPK as well here, the tank himself, trying to hold it back. Of course, we haven't seen any huge multi-kills from him, not similarly to that of Train. But this could be the round as HellRaisers are starting to push on forward. It's going to be an array of grenades flying on in. RPK to respond back with a Molotov and a smoke from Scream to keep Balk pressured off. HellRaisers have made a bit of footing here towards middle, but they've yet to been able to execute forward. And the first line is stopped as Sixer connects 2 shots. Stiko follows suit. Bondic with a bit of a response, though. RPK within the site itself, spraying down. Bondic takes the frag and follows suit with a third. Bondic single-handedly clearing that site, leaves it down to EnVyUs 2v3. Bondic in a weird position over towards the graveyard stairs. Happy creeping his way forward, sees nades in multiple directions, so this has given away Dead Fox's position, who then does fall, but Bondic peaks on high, and a Zero seals the deal. HellRaisers find themselves the opening round.
2 series points. 2 attempts to get themselves to the LAN finals. Obviously, HellRaisers, they've been a team around the CIS scene for a long time, so to go back to Ukraine, I'm sure that'll be a very happy place to be, especially, well, for Bondic. He's going to want to go back home, but they've still got one more to do. Early nade damage is going to come out, but the push is going to be coming in. XMS almost loses his life, down to 11 HP, and it doesn't look like the T's are happy to just let him get away. Aggressive push coming in, and while tempted to rotate, we're already going to see Scream making his way over towards that B site. But they're not dedicated just yet. The bomb's still all the way back in T-spawn. They've got 2 players still lurking around those apartments. We'll see this peek actually coming in from Angel. He's been the entry frag man all the way through this game. Wants to try and continue.
We do see EnVyUs with a 3-player stack towards B. But an interesting position from Angel, who's now crept himself into the corner of Banana. XMS is dangerously close, but as he creeps wide, he gives himself away. Angel, peeking out, is only able to find 1, but it is still a frag nonetheless. 4v4 on the board. CT side, barreling now towards the A site where they will find themselves at the numbers advantage. RPK needs to spray them down. The flashbang will help as he finds Zero, looking for more targets as they continue to push forward. The smoke, the fire, it's all pluming. RPK through the smoke takes yet another, finds the head of Stiko as well, so it's all down to Bondik, and he too toppled. Scream keeps EnVyUs in this game with a great A-site hold. RPK helping out where he can. Again, Tom, a one-round decider.
RPK just... I don't know how he survives that long. He gets 3 kills just maneuvering around that smoke. Wonderful stuff from the tank. And he is going to help keep them alive. One more round either. We're going double OT or HellRaisers are taking themselves off to that land. Well, may not be overly expected. Either way, we do have the AWP back onto 6, so we do have the money still on their side. Obviously, there was no way they could be reset all the way down to 0 because they would have lost the match. So they had to win a round. But now they've done it, it will keep their economy going for now at least. Scream going to be looking to take a peek into apartments, something he has done thus far in this game, but it's been banana control. That's where the biggest challenge has come in for this CT side. They struggled in the first half. We'll see whether or not they're going to be able to counter the aggression of Stiko and Angel once more.
Again, we're going to see EnVyUs with this 3-player stack over towards the short side of things, so very much keeping their attention towards Boiler and Balk. Not so much the Arch, not worried about that wraparound to the B-bomb site, although there is a 2-man push towards the top of Banana. HellRaisers at least feeling out the defense as the bomb now joins forces with them. They've got plenty of grenades as well to go for the execution, and I'd love to see a set piece into the B-bomb site. Smoke out CT, Molotov the multiple angles, and then suddenly you can find EnVyUs at a 3v5 retake disadvantage because they have the anchor to the top of mid as well. Zero in a prime position to cut off rotations. RPK goes wide and there he falls. Now Happy inside of the smoke is going to get saved by XMS. XMS to the site has toppled, and now HellRaisers with a 4v2, but look at the health, Tom. Look at the health. It's so dangerously low, and it's all down to Sixer to clutch 1v3. Both players coming in for Banana, somewhat lining up. Sixer hits the first, but the wide peak from Zero seals the deal, and HellRaisers will secure their place at the Starladder I-League Season 3 LAN Finals.
They have done it. As said, Bondik's going to get to go home, or stay home, I suppose, but not because he's not made it through. They have done it. They beat out EnVyUs in crazy fashion. A brilliant performance on Mirage. They did lose Train, and then Inferno, well, it really couldn't have been closer. All I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, the next time you see, well, at least StarSeries on your channel, it will be at the LAN Finals. And what an exciting lineup we have. I'm sure you could check out HLTV for all of the teams that will be available, or the Starladder website, of course. If you have enjoyed the cast, check us out. You know !casters by now. You know how it works. And if you want to watch this again, which I wouldn't blame you if you did, you could check out the YouTube channel. Final thank you, though. I have to say thank you to Scrawny for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. It was a fantastic series, honestly. What more could we have asked for, Tom?
Yeah, brilliant series. Brilliant qualification as well. The final teams from Europe will be Fnatic, G2, and HellRaisers. We also have from NA, Immortals, and CLG from the qualification. We've got a few Chinese teams joining us in the form of Tyloo, MVP. I think it's Born of Fire, but I may be wrong on that one. I think I might be, actually. But either way, you could check all that out later on. Thank you for watching, guys. That is it. We are done, and we'll see you at LAN.